Hi everyone, welcome to Module 5. For Module 5, you're going to be reading chapters 10, 11, and 12. You're going to be completing your work in Applia, and you're going to be completing discussion board number 4. With discussion board number 4, you're going to be focused on the following criteria. You need to make sure your initial post is submitted by Thursday. You need to make sure your initial post includes an in-text citation and reference in APA formatting, and it needs to be 3 to 4 paragraphs. You need to make sure you have 2 peer responses that are at least 1 paragraph and can be any of the questions that I post or to your peers as well. In this question, you're going to be explaining one positive, negative externality that you've consumed. Analyze why the government has to be involved when an externality is present. That's important. Why does the government have to be involved? Then you're going to focus on one public and private good. Put externality here. One public and private good that you've consumed, and why the government has to be involved with supplying public goods. There's a very key area there, why they have to be supported. So make sure to focus on that aspect as well. If you need me to pre-grade your work, let me know, as I'd be more than willing to, but I look forward to your effort in the discussion board. For Chapter 10, we're going to look at externalities. Now, externalities are a cost or benefit to a third party. So when we look at an externality, it's going to have actions that are going to affect bystanders. Bystanders that are not directly affected by the action that's been taken. You'll notice that governments can sometimes improve market outcomes, and that's very important. So when we look at examples of negative externality, you're looking at pollution, barking dogs, late night music, noise pollution. You're looking at externalities that are involved with 2 parties that are directly involved, and then this third party that's indirectly involved that we can't actually account for the cost. Now, examples of positive externalities are healthcare, education, and vaccinations. And why those are examples of positive externalities, the government gets involved with regard to those positive externalities because they provide support. And how do they provide support? They provide support given that they get involved in markets to bring about change. And how they bring about change in market is they will look at bringing about how they evaluate what's being consumed in the market. So when we look at externalities, you want to look at how they evaluate what's being involved in markets and what they can do in markets to bring about standards. So they want to bring about market solutions. And when they can bring about market solutions, those will be very important. Now, when we look at Chapter 11, we're going to be looking at 2 types of goods, public goods and private goods. A public good is both non-rival and non-excludable, whereas a public good is non-rival, non-excludable. A private good is excludable and rival. You'll notice that the government has to provide support. So when we look at 2 different goods, we're looking at both excludable and rival. Excludable is things that people are not able to buy because of the money that they have. When we look at rival, we're looking at consumption. When one person consumes it, another person can't. So a private good is both rival and excludable, where a public good is non-rival and non-excludable. There's different types of goods that we're going to focus on. Public goods and private goods. Common resources. When we look at private goods, you'll notice that that's goods that we purchase, like food, gasoline. When we look at public goods, those are going to be street lights, parks, national defense. Common resources are going to be fish in the ocean. And the problem that we're facing with all of these is You have to figure out why a government will have to supply these goods and services. That will be very important to evaluate. When you look at why the government has to get involved, the government has to get involved because a business will not be able to get people to actually pay for these various goods and services. And given that people can't pay for these goods and services, it creates a lot of challenges. The government will have to supply public goods. And don't get confused with the word public and thinking public transportation or things like that is a public good. So these are some of the goods that we're going to be focused on this week. If you have any questions or need additional resources, please let me know as I look forward to your effort.